ஏதன் கண்ணே நிலையாகி இருந்திடும் உலகமெல்லாம் எதனதெல்லாம் எது நின்று அனைத்துலகும் எழுமோ மற்றவையாவும் எதன் எதனாலே வையமெல்லாம் எழுந்திடும் எல்லாமும் எதுவே ஆகும். அதுதானே உளபொருளாம் சத்தியமாம் அச்சொருவம் அகத்தில் வைப்பார். அத்துவிதம் என்றும் அகத்துருக ஓர் போதும் அத்துவிதம் செய்கையில் ஆற்றற்க புத்திரனே அத்துவிதம் மூவுலகு தாங்கும் குருவினோடு அத்துவிதம் மகாதரி அத்துவிதம் என்றும் அகத்துருக ஓர் போதும் அத்துவிதம் செய்கையில் ஆற்றற்க புத்திரனே அத்துவித மூவுலகு தாகும் குருவினோடு அத்துவித மகாதரி. Namo Ramana. By Bhagavan's immense grace, we have come up to the penultimate verse of the work Ulladu Narpadu Anubandham. Here, how the Advaita Bhava is to be maintained inside, but not to be expressed in action, or especially out of all the actions, in the act of perceiving the Guru in front of us, one should never feel that one is the equal of the Guru. This is taken from Sri Adi Shankara. Advidam endrum ahatturuga, always experience the Advaita, the spirit, the oneness of spirit, the deathless spirit inside. Ahatturuga, ஓர்போதும் அத்விதம் செய்கையில் ஆற்றற்க. Never ever carry out Advitiya Bhava when engaged in action. O son, the Guru is addressing, O son, in all the three worlds where creation, maintenance and destruction are carried out by the Mummurtis, the Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, Advida Movilahu Tahu. You can maintain the Advaita Bhava even with the lords of the three worlds, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Guruvinod Advida Mahadari. However, with the Guru who gives you salvation from all the worlds, salvation from creation, maintenance and destruction, with that Guru never ever express Advaita or equality with him. To sum it up, the Advaita is to be experienced inside, always. However, never ever express or try to carry out the oneness or Advitiya Bhava when engaged in action. Now, the Advaita Bhava or equality can go or can be excused even with the lords of the three worlds, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. However, this bhava of oneness with the Guru is to be avoided at all costs. Now, in the talks, there are two occasions where Bhagavan has gone against two other Gurus. Now, that is the rarest of rare. In Bhagavan's teachings, it is very rare to find an opposing thread anywhere. Opposing thread against anything, anywhere. Except for the inner journey of the sadhaka. In the outside world, Bhagavan would not oppose anything. But in two instances, we find where the Guru Bhavana is concerned, Bhagavan goes against two Gurus. One is a question regarding Jai Krishnamurti appearing. The questioner asks, Jai Krishnamurti says, I am paraphrasing, that no Guru is necessary. Bhagavan says, how did he come to know about this? How did he come to know about this? So far as ignorance is there, the need for Guru is there. The Advitiya Bhava itself has to be taught by a Guru. So therefore, one cannot per se directly dismiss, in the presence of ignorance, dismiss the need for Guru like that. That was one instance. That's at least straightforward. In another instance, very close, there is an account from the journal of the ashram of Ramdas ji. It is in talk 456, sir. That is, it is from Sri Ramdas, the Vision magazine. This is a very close account where Bhagavan again goes against the holding of a Guru, and a Guru who has realized God realization through Bhagavan's grace. In the vision, Swami Ramdas writes that there is a danger in contact with saints, contact with Guru, that beyond a point, the Guru's presence is like a tree that stifles the growth of the plants underneath. Therefore, the disciple should learn the sadhana and have respect for the Guru, but at the right time, come out and strive independently so that their own, within inverted commas, growth is not stifled. That is more or less the indication in the article. This cutting was read out to Sri Bhagavan. He listened and remained silent. He was requested to say if the contact with saints could be a danger. Sri Bhagavan quoted a Tamil stanza which says that contact with the Guru should be kept up till Videha Mukti, being disembodied. Again, he asked, where is the Satpurusha? He is within. Then he quoted another stanza meaning, O Master, who has been within me in all my past incarnations, and who manifested as a human being only to speak the language understood by me and lead me. Now, this is a close touch and go, but something to be looked into as to how important it is to have the Guru Bhakti till Videha Mukti is attained, till one is completely free from all bhavana about form, one's own form. The Guru Ramdas statements are obviously clear to the intellect that the Shishya, suppose he has the ability to reach out to many, loses out on that or the ability to shine forth or come out and express in ways of his own when he is under the Guru's shadow. And Bhagavan says no. Now if we inquire, who is the Guru? Guru is the outside form instructing us, pushing us inside. No doubt about that. But the Guru is the infinite self within, who is pulling us from within. Bhagavan would always say in 2 or 3 places in the talks that the Guru pushes the mind inward from the outside and pulls the mind towards the self from within. So he is not only the outside form, he is the infinite self. He is no plant, he is no tree who is going to scuttle the growth of a plant. He is the infinite self. He is the Paramatman. The form is there outside, but inside the same Guru is the Paramatman. How would he stifle the growth of anyone? Till Videha Mukti, till the infinite expanse, which is the ultimate growth that anyone can have, growth within inverted commas again, that one merges into the ultimate self, which is Videha Mukti, till that is reached, one should not leave the Guru, says Bhagavan, which shows the importance of this verse. This importance of this verse as to how one should hold Guru in one's lifetime. And Bhagavan, the Videha Mukta, the one who is not only a Jivan Mukta, but also a Videha Mukta. The Bhagavan says in talks that a few get Videha Mukti even while in the body. Even while in the body, they are able to go to that place where there is no form. So the Videha Mukti is attained by them, not only Jivan Mukti, but also Videha Mukti is attained even though the form is perceivable to others. Until such Videha Mukti is attained, one need not or should not leave the Guru, says Bhagavan. We see Siva Prakasham Pillai, after some time, after realization, Bhagavan asks him to go to his village. He says, it is enough that you have stayed here, you can now go to your village. And he has his own set of teachings, which is absolutely in conformity with Bhagavan's teachings. And he writes some verses in praise and verses on the teachings of Bhagavan. But he is sent independently by Bhagavan from there, that you can go to your village now. And what is the Videha Mukta disciple? He is the same infinite expanse as the Guru. Then there is no need for the form of the Guru or oneself. One is abiding in the formless self. But even such a Videha Mukta, which Bhagavan is Turiyaga. We say that Turiyaga means the one who is residing or who is abiding in the transcendental self and whose primary teaching is Mauna, whose primary teaching is silence. Bhagavan being such a transcendental being, the Turiyaga, the Brahmavid Varishta, such a one, when Arunachala is brought, twice in a year or so, Arunachala goes in Girivalam. The Utsava Murti from Arunachala temple goes around the hill in Girivalam, and on one such occasion, must have been the Kartikeya Deepam, on one such occasion, Bhagavan is near that ilupai tree, that tree which with lots of granthis, knots you see in the entrance of the ashram. Is sitting near the ilupai tree when the procession is passing by, and as is usual, they show the Harati to Arunachala and bring the Harati to Bhagavan. And as I have shared, this account is there in the letters from Ramanasramam. There it is written that Bhagavan takes the Harati and says, Appakul Pillai Adakkam. The son is beholden to the father, or the son resides merged in the father. Now, such a Videha Mukta, the one who is Turiyaga, who is in the Brahmavid Varishta state, how does he interact? How does he relate to Arunachala? He mentions that Arunachala must have been his guru. I must have had Arunachala as the guru. The guru need not necessarily be in human form, he says, indicating that he also agrees that a guru was there. And of course, in other places, he says that the self is his guru. But the importance of guru is what we are seeing in this verse. And we see the ultimate, that the one who is a Videha Mukta, who is Brahmavid Varishta, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi, when Arunachala comes in procession, he takes the Harati and he says, Appakku Pillai Adakkam. The son is beholden to the father. There is a friend in the ashram library, one who is assistant librarian there. He and I, we used to meet in the morning before, he would come 10 minutes before the library time, and we will sit in the steps, and he used to be a fountain of lots of information on Bhagavan. So we used to discuss or used to share the life and teachings of Bhagavan. And while discussing this, he was saying, and I agreed with him, that the person who brought the Harati must have wanted to show it also to Bhagavan, like this, treating Bhagavan as the Advitiya Bhava with Arunachala, that Bhagavan and Arunachala are one and the same. But Bhagavan stops him, says, our friend, Bhagavan stops him and says, no, that's not required. Show me the Harati, I'll take it. And in consequence of that, he says, Appakul Pillai Adakkam. We find this in this tradition carried out even in the Shivananda ashram, where we have the great one, Chidananji, who succeeds Shivananda Maharaj as the Guru. What exemplary behavior towards his Guru. A being of extraordinary lustre. Chidananda Maharaj is invited to the Kumbhabhishekam of Ramanasramam. Ganeshananda says, it is usual to invite Brahmajnanis to Kumbhabhishekam. And Chidanand Maharaj was invited to decorate that chair of Brahmajnani while the Kumbhabhishekam was going on. This must have been in the late 60s or early 70s. And Chidanand Maharaj is seated there in the Peetam given to him as Brahmajnani. And at the end of the ceremonies, he says, Ganeshan, can you give me 2 petals from the flowers offered to Bhagavan? And Ganeshanana brings those 2 petals and hands it over to Chidanand Maharaj. 10-15 years later, when Ganeshanana meets Chidanand Maharaj in his ashram, I think, or somewhere in North India, Chidanand Maharaj recollects, do you remember? You gave me 2 petals offered to Bhagavan. They are here. He shows a book inside which he has kept those 2 petals. You know, that which is offered to such a great one has to be saved like this. He says, not only that, when his Mahasamadhi happens, he says, don't construct a Samadhi for me inside the ashram. Let my body go in Mother Ganges, so that let there be only Shivanand Maharaj's name and form as the object of worship here. The indication of complete merger into the Guru, that one does not need to have a separate form when one merges with Ramana. When one merges with Ramana, it is enough that Bhagavan is the immortal being, whoever is. What more is required? Now, such are the great ones, that even when they have reached the highest, they give respect to the visible Guru, visible form of the Guru, and treat him as God, treat him as Brahman, treat him as something worthy of highest adoration. That is the behavior of Brahmajnanis. Now, that is why Bhagavan is quoting here from Adi Shankara, where the Shishya, who is on the way, he is given this instruction: never ever have Advitiya Bhava with Guru. Now, we all have this practice of slighting the Guru. Somehow or the other, when the mind becomes turbulent, or when the mind becomes weak, or we give in to some trouble that we are facing, we easily say something degrading of our Guru. Many are the talks we find where the questioner talks degradingly of the Guru, in the sense that says, I have surrendered and you have not helped. I have done this, I have been here for so many years and there is no progress. These are the things that practically come out, not only of not having Advitiya Bhava, but crossing that and going on to slighting the Guru. One should not do that, and one should be alert that we are not his equal, we are not greater than him to comment on what he is doing in our sadhana. We should be on guard whenever the mind says, I have done so much, I have done so much surrender, so many years of sincere sadhana. Immediately we should come on guard. What we have done, what we have practiced is nothing. Is nothing means really nothing. It is all the Guru Kripa. You imagine as a jiva going in a wrong direction, and with 10 million gaps every day, into which you could have got diverted. But somehow you have kept the course and come to Bhagavan's feet. What else but Guru Kripa could have guided you there? Any point in your journey you take, any point in your journey you take where you have stuck with Bhagavan, there are a million holes there in each point of staying with Bhagavan that you could have gone off into something else. But something, the tiger mouth of Bhagavan has caught hold of us and has never let us go. And on top of all that says, hold me like the monkey. Don't say, I have to hold you like the mother cat. Hold me like the monkey. But he is holding on to us like a tiger. And when we look back 10, 15, 20 years, where we have somehow remained as Ramana devotee, somehow retained the Parayana, somehow continued the Atmachara, each one of those moments, if led to the mind, could have diverted into a million other options. But somehow, some karuna, some force has pushed us inside. Go in. Bhagavan says, when mother rabbit passes away and leaves, mother squirrel passes away and leaves some children, Bhagavan puts them in a cage. And the moment they open the cage gate to feed or anything, they all rush out. And carefully he puts them back and says, this is what all human beings do. That at the slightest opportunity, the mind rushes out. And by Bhagavan's grace, the Guru pushes us back in. Go inside. He pushes us from outside. Now, am I exaggerating? Saying that we are so dependent on the Guru Kripa. A small incident from my own journey. In 1996 or 1997, the Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning had conducted classes to the children in Sri Aurobindo School, where my daughter was studying. And they had also left a book on Ramana and his teachings, a small booklet, which they had to learn, and some questions would be asked later. And at that point in my daughter's life, I was the one in charge of her extracurricular teachings. All curricular teachings were not entrusted to me. They were in the safe hands of the mother. The extracurricular teachings were left to me. And this holy task of sharing the Bhagavan's life and teachings came to me. I still have that book. I have underlined many of these things, and I have underlined the discussion Bhagavan has on who am I. But I have not picked up a bit of it. My only motive in 96-97 was my daughter should come first in the question and answer session, and that is it. There was no sensitivity here that this is something that is going to save me. The Guru has come. But the Guru had come. The Guru had come much before, but the Guru had come unknown to me. He had given a twist. He had given a turn and prepared me, which blossomed by the time in 2004. Real trouble, meditation. Gone to a corner and didn't know how to come. That was like reappeared. And I could grasp the meaning of who am I. No, if the sadhana has to be dependent on the, I am not telling you the 101 things I have done before 1996, each of which could have had many other diversions. I don't know. But subsequent, from 96, where Bhagavan comes unknown to me and goes inside, and then slowly allows me through other sadhana to mature up, and at the exact right time reappear as Tiruvannamalai and push me inside. Now who else other than Bhagavan, who else other than the Guru can do this? Is it possible for the sadhaka? Is it? Bhagavan tells a story about sadhana, which we have to remember, that there is a bird living on the side of the ocean. There must have been some palm tree on which it has built a residence, but some danger is there in that present apartment, and the lady of the apartment says we have to shift residence. There is a nice little tree on the other side. In between there is a beach that is there, some water, the ocean is flowing, and the other tree lies across. They have to fly over some part of water to reach the other tree. And happily the father bird does his duty of building the nest there and is transferring the eggs. In transferring the eggs, one of them falls into the water. And in all macho greatness of a sadhaka that we all have, the sparrow says, "O ocean, you have consumed my child. I am going to empty you. I am going to empty you and I am going to save my child." And then it goes into the ocean, takes a dip, brings the 3-4 droplets it has on its wings and puts it on the beach. And it is doing this relentlessly. And by grace of God, sage Narada is passing there, and in a glance he is able to catch what is happening, and immediately he talks, communicates with Garuda in Vaikunta and says, "See, your kin, another bird, is struggling like this. How can you sit there? Come and help him." And Garuda, the great grace, comes down and asks the sparrow, "Please wait for a few minutes there," and flaps the wing over the place where the egg has fallen. The ocean opens up and the sparrow picks up the egg and goes and puts it in its nest. This is exactly how the sadhana goes in a sadhaka, a jiva. So far as one begins as a jiva, this is exactly how the sadhana goes on. That grace appears in the form of the Guru, brings all the right forces to play, brings all the help that can, blocks all the difficulties that are obstructing, clears the path, and one is able to go in. As one goes in, one is able to see more and more clearly how many places are there in my sadhana where this jiva could have gone astray. Every moment, when we drive down from Tiruvannamalai, as the verse says, when we drive down from Tiruvannamalai, we were driving down yesterday, and I had the steering wheel in hand. The verse says, don't express Advitiya in action. We are per se forced to drive about 80, 90, 100 in the highway. 2 cars this side, 2 cars that side, huge trucks going. If at that speed you are maintaining the speed to keep in status quo, if you say left is the same as right, if you say turning left is the same as turning right, you can imagine what will happen there. And that is what is meant by trying to express or trying to carry out Advaita in action. Action itself is in duality. So one should never try to express Advaita in action. There is this story from Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, which Kanakaman quotes. Very nice story, which makes it very clear why Bhagavan goes and locks the ashram gate once. When somebody has left it unlocked at night, Bhagavan takes the lock and goes and locks it and comes back. Many incidents are there where Bhagavan sticks to the rule where action is concerned. Many are the incidents. But coming back to the story from Paramahamsa about how action and Advaita do not go together, and what it actually means that action has its discipline to be maintained. There is this great disciple who has got onto a plateau where he feels he has now got the Advaita experience. And he is walking down the road and he is seeing the elephant and the mahout coming. And he says, what? Everything is Advaita, all this is one. Whatever I see is all the Advitiya spirit. What will happen if I walk in front of the elephant? Nothing will happen. And he goes into that life and starts walking in front of the elephant. And the mahout from there, he shouts, Bhaiya, get away, get away. The elephant may trample you, and if you are lucky, it may throw you. And this disciple turned out to be lucky, and it just took him in the trunk and threw him. Having got injured physically and in the ego, the Sishya goes to the Guru and says, Oh Guru, you said Advaita, you said everything is the same spirit. But I went in front of the elephant, and what Advaita, what one spirit? I was thrown. Then the Guru said, Oh Bhaiya, what have you picked up from my teachings? If you are one with the elephant, so also is the mahout, and so also is the instruction given by the mahout. So also is the carrying out of the instruction by the mahout. So, as far as actions are concerned, you should consider that proper implementation of Dvaita Bhava, the Dvaita rules and the Dvaita Dharma, and in the exact way that it should be done is the Advitiya Bhava. Advaita covers everything. So in the Dvaita world, the exact carrying out of Dharma that was required, that particular shade alone should be taken as the Advaita Bhava, and any other thing should be taken as play of your ego. Going at 120 kilometers per hour behind another car and with trucks this side and that side, if you say turning left, looking at the mirror and not looking at the mirror are the same, then that is no Advaita. So first part of this verse is Advaitam Yendrum Ahatturuga. Vorpodum Advaitam Vorpodum Advaitam Seigayil Atraka. Never ever show Advaita in action. Whenever two things are in action mode, you should apply the rules of action. When I am speaking English, speaking Kannada, speaking some dialect, they are all different. And one has to act according to the circumstance. And one should not say that, we see Bhagavan do that all the time. When he speaks Tamil and when the recipient doesn't, when the hearer doesn't know Tamil, there are proper translators who translate and tell them. Bhagavan would not say that it is all the same. Tamil is the same as English. No. Advaitam, Yendrum, Seigayil Atraka, Puttirane, Advaitam, Moolahattum Agum. Advaita is allowed to feel one with the Creator, the Maintainer, and the Destroyer. Now, who are all one with the unbroken spirit, the Creator, the Maintainer, and the Destroyer, and the Witness are all having their base in the unbroken spirit. in that spirit which is this Purana, which is running as I. Bhagavan says you can claim, you are allowed to claim equality with the creator, maintainer and the destroyer, but never with the Guru, because the Guru is doing something that is beyond the plane of creation, maintenance and destruction, beyond the plane of the triads. Creation involves triads, maintaining involves triads, destruction involves triads. There must be the Tripudi for the object to be created, for the object to be maintained, or the object to be destroyed. Whereas the Guru is the one who takes the disciple beyond this plane, who takes the disciple into that place where creation, maintenance and destruction are transcended. When Bhagavan would be asked, that is the final state, not one of witnessing. Is not God the witness of everything? Bhagavan would say, what is there to witness? The self alone is. That means not even the Sakshi Bhava. Forget about creation, maintenance, destruction. Not even the Sakshi Bhava does the Guru allow you to remain in. He says, what is there other than the self for you to be a witness of? That is the place where Bhagavan takes us, where the oneness with the self is there. Now, to such a Guru who tells us that there is only the self, and when someone asks Bhagavan, how am I going to repay this great kindness of yours? When I was a Jiva not going where I am going, you have come and you have entered my life. You have protected me, saved me from many of the gaps into which I could have fallen, allowed continuity in sadhana, allowed me to have your darshan outside and inside, and you have safely brought me here to the self. How am I going to repay you? And Bhagavan quotes Kaivalya Navanitam and says, abiding in the self is the only thing you need to pay the Guru. Because what is the Guru? The Guru is not the outside form, but the self inside. The outside form of the Guru is Ishvara. Ramaneshwara is there outside. Always have bhakti towards Ramaneshwara. It is he, it is Ramaneshwara who has protected you in many of those Durbal Kapal Ram situations. Wherever your effort towards sadhana has failed, or your vasanas have carried you into many other directions, in all those situations, it is the Guru Kripa that has kept us and brought us back. Always remember that. Even when one has this experience of Atmanubhava, as Chidanand Maharaj and as Bhagavan has shown us, one has to have the bhavana that Ramana is everything, the Guru is everything. If somebody comes that the Guru is Ishvara, that is enough, is it not? Where is the need for a separate forum from that? It is enough that Bhagavat Padam Anyajana Sulabham, says Ganapati Muni. That Bhagavat Padam which Bhagavan has achieved is very difficult for any other. Why difficult? Where is it required? You have to just merge with Bhagavan. Say, realize that Bhagavan is Bhagavan. That is enough. What more is required? Show the hands that is the one who is running everything. He is the one who is the creator, maintainer and destroyer. He is the one who is the Sakshi. He is the one who is the Spurana. That Spurana which you hold and remove your I am the body idea is Bhagavan, is Ramana. And Ramana is the one who will allow you into Sayujyam with himself, into oneness with himself, where you alone are, where you alone exist. Tannai andri anniyam ondrum mariya. Till then, Ramana is not going to live. Even when one reaches there, where you alone are, the I alone is there, even then, in sharing, in Vyavahara, Bhagavan is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the one who has protected us, who will protect us, who is protecting us, and who guides us in sadhana, who brings grace like Narada brought to that sparrow, then who absorbs us into him. When he says, I was discussing in the Girivalam Devi yesterday with another devotee, the devotee was saying, of course I am able to come to the point, who is the walker, who is the listener, who is the speaker. As you are saying, I was telling her, when you are walking, this is the right time with Arunachala on your right to see who is the walker. And she was telling me, yes, I am able to come to that point, but there is no answer. There is no answer there. There is only a silence. So I was sharing with her, where is the need for answer? Are you not there? When you ask, who is the walker? You are there. The walking is not there. The walker is not there, but the silence is there. When you ask for whom is time and space, time is not there, space is not there, you are there. When you ask for whom is fate and free will, fate is not there, free will is not there, but you are there. That is bhava shunya sadbhava sustiti. Bhavas, all bhavas of time, space, fate, free will, this, that, everything is gone. But you are there. Your existence cannot be taken away. And that is the place where you are in Sayujya with Bhagavan. Bhagavan's existence is immortal existence. And when you ask, who am I? The thought is dropped. Whatever may be the thought, it is dropped. And you come to that silence or stillness of the eye. You are one with Bhagavan. Even there, even in that oneness, when one opens the eyes and sees the Arunachala hill, Arunachala is the Ishvara. Ramana is the Ishvara. One is that Jiva who has walked and treaded all the path and has been helped by Bhagavan. And the moment you close your eyes, or the moment the eye comes to stillness, there again, the Advaitam, the oneness with Bhagavan, the oneness with the Guru is experienced inside, but never expressed outside. On the outside, the Guru is the Guru with all that karuna, all that compassion, which has saved that jiva and brought and made it understand that it is beyond time, it is beyond space, it is a consciousness that is free of fate and free will. But still, it is by Guru Kripa that one has merged into the Guru, into the Atman. So the moment one opens the eyes, one comes out as the ego. Bhagavan is Bhagavan. When Bhagavan is there, what else is required? He takes care of everything on the outside, takes care of everything on the inside. He merges us into the Atman. What more is required than this excellent first-class travel? Put everything to Bhagavan, go and abide in yourself, be one with him inside. Whenever you open your mouth, sing his praise. Bhagavan takes care of everything. What may be the trouble? The trouble is in Tripudi. Bhagavan is Akhanda. How can anything in Tripti stand before the Akhanda? Put it to Bhagavan. Go and abide in the oneness. That is the verse given to us by Adi Shankara. That never ever show Advitiya Bhava to the Guru. Of course, never show Advitiya Bhava when in action. Always have Advitiya Bhava inside. Ahat Turuga, says the Adi Guru, says our Bhagavan. And that is for us to carry out, abide in, be free, be blissful, and be one with all the great ones here inside. As Chidananji and as Bhagavan have shown, it is enough if Arunachala is there. It is enough if our Guru is there. Where is the need for our separate existence? Then even that Guru's form merges into the self within and takes us along with it into that one self. With our Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in practice of Atmochan for 10 minutes. Namo Ramana. Namo Ramanaka. Namo Ramanaka.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. We say, based on what Bhagavan has told us in his answer to a devotee, he says, Ramana is the self, Hariyadi itara jeevara dahavarija guhayil, Arivai Rami Paramatman Arunachala Ramanan. So he says, that which shines as consciousness in the hearts of all beings. So there we see all beings. And this is in the practice, there is no Advaita. That's what Bhagavan is telling us over here. The moment all is seen, we cannot say that there is Advaita or Advaita has to be applied. Whereas in the self, there is no other who is seen. Then who is to apply the Advaita over there? One who is abiding in the self, one who is abiding in the very Guru, who is the self. There is a question of his saying that he is one with the Guru, because there is none other there to say. But if we come out and perceive a world, then Bhagavan's example is there. He says to Arunachala, Labha ni iha para labhamil ennai utru labham ennutru ne Arunachala. So he says, you alone are the gain and I have nothing in me to offer. Iha para labhamil. There is nothing. I am not worth anything in this world, or in the search for the self, I am not worth anything. As Nanda Kumarji told us repeatedly, even if we look at one single small little thought of ours, it is enough to take us into multitudes, crores of thoughts, into crores of vasanas. It can create so many seeds. So many seeds. Each thought is a seed. Then where is the question of that forest which we have to cross? When every time we have a thought, we have sown a seed for multitudes of trees to raise. And it is only Guru Kripa which can take one across, which can cut away, which can burn away that forest. And how can we not recognize that? We see that Bhagavan himself time and again talks of the glory of Arunachala only. And we find all of Bhagavan's devotees, the great ones like Muruganar, who have experienced that state and who have declared in works like Guru Vachaka Kovai and Ramananubhuti that Bhagavan has blessed them with that same state, that state in which he is there. And him Muruganar Swami sings, Yenna Kaimare, Yenna Kaimare. Kuviye Yenne Kulaviye Anda Kurisile Kumaravel Kurai. You called me, how would I come otherwise? Kuviye Yenne Kulaviye. You bathed me in your glance of love, says Muni. Abhicha Katakshena, the Guru, he bathed me in his glance of grace, and then he spoke the words. Muni would say always that Bhagavan gave that glance of grace before answering. In many places, I am told, even in the talks, that Bhagavan goes into silence and then gives the reply. Many devotees have noted this, that silence in which he actually dissolves the doubt of the devotee before expressing it in words as the very self. So Muruganar Swami says, Kulaviye anda kurisile Guru, Kumaravel kurai, Suriyal Vediyoi, Ramana Periyal Viriyoi, Mikka Paviyenaya Padakanen Mattum, Ammaye Immaya Seida Aviye. You have just turned all my pavame punyama seidaviye. Ammaye immaya seidaviye. This I was thinking this body is I, but you have established me in the self. Ando arindile namma kai mare. How can I ever repay the debt of gratitude? And that debt of gratitude towards the Sadguru poured forth in so many 20,000, 30,000 poems from Murunal. Constant gratitude pouring forth for that Sadguru. All the ones who have been blessed by that state, I have heard them saying that they are always in tears thinking of Bhagavan's love. I have seen Vishwanatha Swami also. Vishwanatha Swami, when I went to him, say, seeking a mantra japa also, he said, of course I will give it to you. And then he said, I am your friend. Bhagavan is your guru. They never thought of Bhagavan as equal to them in any way. Not even 1 second would they swerve from that Guru Bhakti. If we see all of them, any instance we hear, we can read Ganeshananna's Ramana Periya Puranam, we will find each and every devotee of Bhagavan, and all of them have been blessed by Bhagavan with the same state. All of them, not even one less or more. It could be Ramanatha Brahmachari. And Ramanatha Brahmachari, so much of blessing of that state, which he talks about also, again in his poetry he talks about it. What can we say, he says. And that Ramanatha Brahmachari, who could not speak a single word in a normal conversation, who was so quiet, so retiring, when he was asked to talk about Bhagavan's grace, he could not be stopped. He went on for one whole Girivalam and went on after that and wrote poetry also about it. Such is the wonder of Bhagavan's grace. It can swallow the greatest poison. It is Shiva who swallows the halahala. Otherwise, we can never know what tricks the ego will be up to. Its presence is so subtle, it is so hidden, and suddenly it can take anyone unawares. But for the Guru's grace, and we find in Kunjaswami's life also, Kunjaswami was so ripe that when he came to Bhagavan, he could immediately get into that state, into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And he was probably in that state continuously for a few days. And then he thought that Guru's physical presence is not required anymore. And he went back to his town and he found that the mind rose again. And he came back to Bhagavan. Such is the power of that presence. And that presence, of course, by that very grace, is there for us even now. And it is such a sweet presence. It is something which forgives us also. Even though we make mistakes, it forgives us. It waits for us to get over our limitations. Ganeshananna narrated one incident of a lady who came to see Bhagavan. She was very well-to-do, and she was so well-to-do that she could engage her own private train from Chennai, and she could come to Tiruvannamalai in what was called a saloon car. And she had informed the ashram that she was coming, and she came. And there are Bhagavan's devotees who say that Bhagavan, so compassionate, but sometimes he would even ignore a devotee who would come in. On some days, he could ignore somebody, or he could be completely gracious also. And it so happened that when this lady came to the ashram, Bhagavan did not even look at her. He just had his newspaper, he was reading a newspaper, and he had his face also hidden. She waited for some time, and she was upset because she had already informed the ashram she is coming, and She expected they would have told Bhagavan and Bhagavan will greet her, and here he was not even showing his face. And she got angry and she left and she sent a message to the ashram that she was upset and she was returning. And then the ashram authorities came and told Bhagavan that she said she is upset and she is returning. Oh, then he said, oh, she said that, is it? Adu vela seyyu. He said her own upset will do its work. And she was going back and she had gone, says Ganeshanna, maybe up to Arakonam or quite some distance. When suddenly within her she felt, what a fool I am. What a fool I am. For what purpose did I come all the way to India, all the way to Tiruvannamalai? I came for Bhagavan's darshan. I came for his grace. I did not come to prove that I was a great woman or I should get this attention or that attention. What a fool I have been. And she asked them to take the train back to Tiruvannamalai. What if he doesn't look at me also? Should I not wait for his grace to come whenever it comes? And when she came back, Ganeshanna says, when narrating the story, Bhagavan was actually sitting like this and looking at the door. Just looking at the door as if waiting for her to come. So such is the grace of the Sadguru. How can it be explained? How can it be said away? How can it be ever denied? The instances are every moment in the life of the devotees. Every moment, every time one asks the question, who am I? The question cannot arise but for the grace of Bhagavan. So many thoughts, as Nandakumarji repeatedly told us today, how many million thoughts, how many times we can fall. Even in the session of self-inquiry, how many times does the question, who am I, arise? Maybe in 10 minutes it may arise even 10 times only, maybe sometimes not even 10 times. So if it arises, even that question, who am I, if it arises, what great grace, because of the grace only, because that vichara shakti velendum devam, says Sadhuvam Swami, it is the shakti veil of Muruga, that vichara, atma vichara. How can that manifest but for grace? And having manifest also, then that the thought subsides and for the eye to subside into the source. What great grace! And if it will stay there, what greater grace! So how can anyone who has come to Bhagavan by his very grace ever deny it? And that's why Manika Vachakar says in Shiva Puranam, Avanarulale avantal vanangi. Avanarulale avantal vanangi. And Bhagavan tells us, if you are remembering grace, it means grace is already there with you. It is already there with you. Otherwise, you can't even say the word grace. You can't even remember the word grace. Grace is, of course, there for everyone. But it is that very Shakti which makes one aware even to a minuscule extent of its beauty and its power and the protection which it brings from moment to moment. And Bhagavan says, of course, that the Guru is the very self. So there is no question of Dvaita with the self, and there is no question of Advaita, because Advaita, of practicing Advaita is an impossibility, because in the world, if there is manifestation, there is no Advaita. In the heart, when there is Advaita, there would be no Dvaita. So the two cannot concurrently occur in any situation, and that is the grace of Bhagavan. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.